everybody. I'm Elyse Sparks from Sparks Wellness, where we talk about getting moving in your body, business, and life. And today we are talking to Carolyn Banner. She is the owner of Body by Banner. She's a personal trainer, yoga teacher, registered dietitian, and nutritionist. And she's a mom, and how we really, not about all of the above, but also how we really connected was that she's also has an Argentine husband just like me.
Yes.
So, welcome, Carolyn. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you so much, Elyse. Yeah, it's been super fun to connect on that.
So we have a lot of things that overlap, but what I really love about the things that I've seen you share is when you talk about diet and nutrition and how to fit all that in with the fitness and yoga and just being flexible in your body and balancing your life and all that stuff. So that's really what I wanted to bring you here to talk about today. So I know that a lot of people that I work with, my clients and in my online programs, are really busy. I mean, I feel like pretty much almost everyone could say that right now, which is not exactly like an honor badge, but it's just kind of the way things are. So I know a lot of people struggle with kind of like how to fit their meals and snacks and eating in around their exercise and their fitness life, especially when, you're working a full day and, you come home and you're really hungry and you're like, I could just eat now and then maybe push my workout back, but maybe that might make it like not even happen, or work out on an empty stomach and then kind of be like hungry while I'm making dinner, and then maybe eating later on at night. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this topic up of like pre-post workout eating, especially at the end of the day. How do you recommend we even like start with that?
Yes, this is can be a huge problem. And I'm one I've worked with a lot of women with. A lot of the women I work with too are super busy, either working, moms, both. And it's tricky, right? Because I feel like after like 4 or 5 p.m., either when you finish work or you pick up the kids from school and you head home and you got to make dinner, you want to get your workout in, there's a lot. And then adding hunger on top of that, we can oftentimes raid the pantry. I don't know if you've ever done this, and like eat the equivalent of a meal before you even make the meal.
or while you're making the meal.
Exactly. Snacking. So we want to prevent that, right? We want to prevent that where you're overeating the calories before you get to a good nutritious meal, and also prevent the later night maybe snacking where you're just feeling like you're still hungry, still craving, still just not satisfied. Which can sometimes happen if you work out and push yourself and have that stress on your body, right? Because if you work hard, you're going to have to recover, and then it can trigger more cravings later. So we want to prevent that. So what I would recommend is, everyone's different. So just, I guess, before I go into specifics, is that overall diet is super important, right? Like, so just not going for more than 5 hours, I would say, between meals. So having kind of evenly spaced meals and getting protein in with all of your breakfast included, which can be tricky in the United States. We tend to skimp on protein, but spreading that protein out and really focusing on overall nutrition is going to help you not have those crashes later on. So that's just like blanket statement. And then let's strategize how to handle the afternoon. So I would say if you're going to be trying to do a workout before making dinner, then maybe one thing that can be helpful is if you're commuting or if you're about to leave work, like right before you're finishing up, to have that snack kind of planned out. So sort of be ready, have a snack that's going to give you maybe about an hour or two before your workout, some carbohydrates and protein and fat. It could be like a plain yogurt with fruit and nuts added in. It could be a yogurt, another kind of yogurt that maybe doesn't have a whole lot of sugar, cottage cheese, a cheese stick. If you're on the go, it could be a bar. So there's some decent bars out there, and or even a pre-made smoothie kind of shake. So just trying to get something that's it's not going to be a full meal. It's going to be about 200 calories around there. So, and then giving you about maybe 10 grams of protein, ideally, if you can, just so people like numbers to kind of know what to aim for. And and that's a good, I think, starting point. And then after your workout, you want to probably have something, if you've gotten that snack in. So there's one scenario, right, where you try and like you're maybe like planned ahead and super prepared, but then what if that didn't happen? You go into the workout, you going into it pretty hungry. You want to kind of have something ready right afterwards. It could be simple as an apple, just to grab that apple before you start making dinner. It could be maybe half of a protein bar. Do you want me to go over some specifics that I
Yeah.
love?
Give it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I can start talking and then just like keep going. So I don't want to.
No, I love it. I think this are really, really helpful because it's kind
Yeah.
of, I think it's kind of easy to say, oh yeah, like a little bit of carbohydrates or a little bit of protein, but then it's kind of sometimes hard to imagine like what that actually is or could be that you have at your house already, or
Exactly.
can prep to have at your house.
Exactly. Yeah. It can be vague. So let's go specific. Okay. So some bars that I like because they have a good bit of protein. They're not super processed and they don't have a lot of carbohydrates, because there's this they're almost like candy bars, right? Even I would say Cliff Bar, which just tastes amazing, but it gives you 45 to 50 grams of carbohydrates and only about 10 grams of protein. So the proportion is pretty far off. So I would say not the best option, Cliff. Better option would be Think Thin bars, which have like their brownie flavor is one of my favorites. Oat Mega bars from On It. More places like Whole Foods are carrying those. Those are great, and they give more fiber too. So fiber is going to be helping you have that sustained energy and stable blood sugar. RX bars are becoming, I think, more popular too across the country, and those are really simple ingredients, which I love. So not a lot of processed and added sugars or sugar substitutes. And then Quest bars are not my favorite personally, but some people love them.
I don't
And
even think I've seen those or maybe had that. I'll have to look for those.
yeah, they're really big in the fitness world. So, but they're starting to show up like in Whole Foods, I think too.
Okay.
Has them. And then you can also get creative and go Pinterest and make your own protein bars, which I've had plus or minus success with. Just hard. It's sometimes the flavor doesn't always turn out the best, but those would be my favorite bars. So, and I'm one for even having half of one. Like say you're on the go, you're heading home, you didn't maybe plan out a great snack, but you're starving and you still want to get your workout in. Having half of one of those bars and maybe an apple could be a really good boost to your energy and hold you over so that you can have that energy to make your dinner and not like just go raid the pantry.
Yeah. And that you feel like you're strong and capable in your workout, like
Yes.
you said, to have the energy. So,
yes.
Okay, so I think that kind of answers this question, but I'm just going to reiterate it just in case. So if given the chance to have something or not have something before your workout, like to kind of go on empty and start it that way, like you would recommend having something, but maybe having it, like you said, before your commute, like an hour or so before, so that you still kind of have that feeling of like, not a lot of food still digesting, but that you have something, sometimes for me, I have to say that sometimes it's a mental thing, I think. And sometimes it's like, I just need to know that I've had something. I don't know the psychology behind that, if that's really true or not, but yeah, just so you know you've had something. So I don't know if I just asked you a question or just said a statement.
So well, I guess kind of whether or not it's okay to work out fasted.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So, I mean, I work out fasted in the morning all the time. And but it took me some time because I was sort of like had it drilled in my brain that I always had to have a snack before I worked out. But actually, this is another thing, like kind of another overall, like, trying to get your overall diet is important. Another statement is like, it's really important for you to individualize it for each person. It needs to really take in, because there's definitely a variability person to person on what you're going to tolerate. Some people love nuts before a workout. I'm like, no way, like all the fat and fiber. I want something light and like fruit. So this question of fasted or not, you can definitely work out fasted. You can try it. Some people do well with it. Some people don't. So I'm just going to say that if it's in the morning, it tends to work the best. Like if you've been fasting from the night before and then you eat immediately afterwards. If you're going into an afternoon workout, kind of like what we were talking about, and it's been more than 3 hours, that's when I would say a small snack would be helpful. If it's been 4 to 5 hours and you haven't had like a solid meal, so you ate at noon and you're going to try and work out at 5 or 6, then definitely I would want to have that snack. Maybe, ideally I'm trying to do about an hour beforehand, like we were talking about, kind of that mix of maybe a yogurt with, or some, maybe a cheese stick and a piece of fruit, or trail mix, and some things like that are going to give you a combination of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in that kind of crisis, oh my gosh, like I just need to get some energy, I'm feeling shaky, then fruit is your best friend. Like carbohydrates, simple, you're going to digest them most easily and not have a heavy stomach when you're working out. So
Yeah.
think carbs, think fruits, fruit juices, those things will give you quick energy.
That's a great recommendation, because I know I'm thinking now back to, I feel like a lot of clients have said to me before, like they feel lightheaded, especially in the morning situation, that they haven't had something beforehand. So, I mean, I always go back to listening to your body, but that takes a lot of experimentation sometimes, because you don't always know like what's going to be the best. And I feel like it's probably one of those things that changes through different phases of where you're personally at as well. Sometimes like for a period of time that might work really well for you. And then you might have to change it up if your circumstances change.
Exactly. Yes. Everything with nutrition, I just encourage your clients is that their tips, like their starting points, like guides, there's like lights along the path, and then everyone has to find their way, and it's a good place to start. But then, keep open, keep investigating. Is this working? Am I having better energy with this meal, or with what I'm eating, or is it kind of making me feel more drained? That's a good question, I think, to always ask with food or
Well, speaking
nutrition.
of tips, you've already given us some really, really solid ones. Do you have any others that you want to share with us, or just recap the ones that you've given us already?
Yeah. So I know it's kind of like confusing perhaps, because we're kind of like all these different scenarios. So you can give fasting workouts a try, especially if it's in the morning. If it's in the afternoon, I would say try and get that mixed carbohydrate snack in of something like yogurt, or hard-boiled egg and fruit, or hummus and something like that. So it's kind of a mix of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And then, or using those bars that I mentioned, the Think Thin, the RX bars, Oat Mega. I'm checking my notes here so I don't forget. I think Quest, and then afterwards, because we didn't really go over post-workout nutrition, so just really quickly, like if you are there's a window of about 2 hours is ideal to try and replenish your carbohydrate stores in your muscles and your protein to help build muscle and prevent muscle breakdown. So if you can eat a meal within 2 hours, awesome. So that scenario of the afternoon should be perfect. You'll eat a meal and should feel fine. If you're kind of on the go, if it's a midday workout or something like that your clients might be doing, then it's important to maybe do like a shake or a bar, something that's going to give you around 15 to 20 grams of protein and 30 grams of carbohydrates. So like a whey protein shake.
A little bit more substantial than a little snack.
Yeah, it could be also those bars I mentioned. It could be one of those, because it's going to give you about 15 to 20 grams of protein and some carbs. Or for example, they call them like naked shakes, where it's just like whey protein powder and water. So on the go, you can just shake it and then have a piece of fruit with it. And that would be perfect if you can't eat, within an hour or two after.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great recommendation. I don't follow this stuff that closely, actually. So that's great. Okay, that's really interesting.
And that helps prevent, again, that later craving, crashing, snacking that can sometimes happen, especially at night.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much. These tips I know are going to be so helpful. I learned a lot.
Awesome.
So now we want to ask you watching, which of these tips was maybe new for you or interesting, or something that you're going to try out and experiment on your body. Carolyn and I would love to know. So post below this video what you thought about the tips, which one stood out, and which one you're going to try this week. Thanks so much for being here, Carolyn, and sharing your
Welcome.
knowledge with us. And I will post all your info below so everybody watching can go check out Carolyn's food, nutrition, exercise programs, and everything that she has to offer in the link below this video. Thanks so much, Carolyn.
Yeah, thank you. So glad to be here.
Bye.
Bye.